Hey there, my crafty friends. Do you struggle with layering your heat transfer vinyl? No worries. I've got some great tips and tricks to show you while we make a football shirt just in time for football season. So for this project, I am going to show you some tips and tricks on layering heat transfer vinyl. As you can see, I'm using my Cricut Easy Press over here, and this is a adult size small sweatshirt. And on the front, we're going to do a little pocket design, and on the back, we're going to do kind of a full back design. But both of these designs are going to require layering. Start off doing a little lint rolling to get all the extra debris off of there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just heat my design. You can see this. I went ahead and put the sweatshirt through my ironing board just because this is thicker material. I don't want anything to get stuck anywhere and it's not supposed to. And it just makes it a little bit sturdier, nice flat surface, and easier for me to kind of fold and see the edges. All right, so we're gonna start off with a pocket design here. And this is a football shirt for one of my friends. And this is for her son. So to start with the pocket, so you kind of want to look at here is the bottom of the armpit. What you think about where that is on you. And you want to kind of come across the armpit and then kind of find the center. And that is your area where you want to put it. So I do have to kind of put this together a little bit. So this is going to go here. I'm just going to lay out my design. I've got 3 different colors, a couple little pieces. This one's going to go on top. And then this white part will go on top of the football when it's done. So what I can do is I can kind of start with either the name or I can start with the football. I've got a little bit of overlapping with my transfer, but I can go ahead and trim that transfer and I can do these 2 pieces at the same time. So I'm just going to come in here and trim up my transfer very carefully. I don't want the transfer to overlap. Whoop.
Do you find this helpful? Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Silhouette Studio tutorials. Now let's jump back in where we left off.
Because, oh dear, when the transfer overlaps, it actually changes the amount of, sorry, I'm trying to talk and measure at the same time. It changes the amount of heat that's going to get through to the to your design. So that's why I want to try to get rid of some of this extra transfer. And it cut a little bit too much. It kind of ripped there, and actually some of my letters are showing. So I'm going to fix that a little bit too. I'm just going to peel up this transfer. All right, trimmed it pretty good there. So now none of my transfer is overlapping any of my HTV, so that's good. And I think this will be a good place for it. All right, so I've got the 2 pieces on there. Nothing is overlapping. None of the transfers overlapping. So I can go ahead and put these on. I don't want to do a ton of time because as you put this on there, it's actually going to melt and this is going to expand. So I just want to hit it pretty quickly. So I'm using 320 degrees at 15 seconds. Because I'm going to layer, I'm not going to do the full 15 seconds. And I want to make sure this is centered on there. That looks good. So I'm probably going to do about 10 seconds, maybe even 5, but I'm going to go ahead and just hit the button. All right, so we did like, I don't know, 7 seconds. And that was just enough to make it warm enough that I can peel off my carrier sheet and my design is gonna stay put. And it didn't warp a ton, which is perfect, because now when I go to put down my next layer, we're gonna hit all of this again with heat, so then it'll really sink in. So now I'm gonna try to line this up, make it center, and try to get the edges flush. This can be a little bit more difficult with your heat transfer vinyl because, like I said, it will kind of expand and change shapes a little bit as you apply heat. But that looks fantastic. Just about my entire design there is covered. So the little bit that's not covered, I'm going to take another piece of transfer tape and then just cover that so everything's good and covered, everything has protection. And then again, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do, we got one more little corner here that doesn't have any protection on there. Okay. All right, now it's all good and protected. And then again, I'm just gonna come in here and let's do 320. Let's see, that's 5. We'll do another, I don't know, 7 or 8 seconds. And then we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna peel this white piece, which is where I laid down my next layer. Ooh, and that is crazy hot. And you can see that it peeled up a little bit, so it's not completely done, but that's okay. It's done enough to hold it where it needs to be. Now I can peel all of those pieces up. I'm gonna put my protective layer on, and then this time I will hit the entire design for the full 15 seconds. I've got this kind of layered a couple times, so it's still not gonna get the complete amount of heat because I've got this, I don't know, what does that make, 4 layers perhaps? But it'll be enough heat to get everything really good and sticky. All right, we will take a gander. And then what I'm gonna do is just kind of make sure everything looks to be good and stuck down. I like the way that looks. All right, so that is the front. So less heat, more patience, doing multiple hits of the heat, and that is how we achieved our multi-layer design there without making anything really lose its shape too much. So there's the front, and then on the back, we'll go ahead and get this put back on the ironing board rather. And then I've got the tops all the way to the edge, the top edge of the board. Pull this all the way down. Again, this is a size small men's. And then just trying to find where my seams are. So that way I can find the center pretty easily. Okay, that looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and lint roll. You want to make sure you get rid of any kind of debris that's on here. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little heat, using it right now just kind of like an iron to get out any of the wrinkles, but also just to kind of preheat, helps everything stick. All right, that looks good there. All right, so then for this one, I've cut the center out here. This is actually where I cut out the last name for the top on the front design. So I went ahead and cut that out, and I left it kind of like this so I have an idea of what it's gonna look like. And then the only thing I have to add to the middle is this piece here. So I think we can do it all in one shot once I kind of get everything laid down. So lining it up for the back, I want to come down about 3 inches, and it's got this fancy little collar piece. So I'm actually going to come down 4 inches. So I'm going to come up just a little bit. And that looks pretty centered there. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of lay that down. Now that I have that down, I can actually come in here and trim away these extra pieces on my transfer that I had used to help kind of hold everything together. Now that I've got it laying down in the spot where I want it, you know, because your transfer's got some stickiness on it, which is going to help hold it in place, which is what makes this so easy to do. Okay, and now that leaves my center open for me to add my other word here. And let's see, is it gonna fit? Ooh, just barely. Let's go ahead and I'm just gonna have to trim this down. And I'm trimming it really kind of right to the bottom of the letters. This is really easy because this is nice and straight. So it makes it easy to trim this right to, but not actually cutting any of the letters. All right, so I've got this trimmed down. And I know I don't, you know, I'm just kind of eyeballing, but I know that it fits roughly right in the center here in between my 2 words. So I think that looks good there. I've got a little bit overlapping right here. So I can just pick this up and then cut a little bit more on that. All right, I like the way that looks. The edges are curling up. This one's not super sticky, but that's okay. Doesn't need to be. All right, so again, let's go ahead and get to work. This design is bigger than my Easy Press, so I'm gonna start on one side here. And this time I'm gonna do the full 15 seconds. Actually, let's do maybe just 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna come to the other side and we're gonna do 5 just to get it tacked on, since I'm doing it in 2 pieces. Okay, so that's just enough to kind of get things tacked. And then, well, this piece was under. Shoot, okay. Well, and that's why we do it, just to tack it on. This is really hot, but I can go ahead and start peeling. Okay, and then this white, I think is a different brand, so it probably needs a little bit more time, but let's see. Seems to be, it's barely tacked on, but it is tacked on enough that it should stay there. Okay, got a little wrinkle right there. I'm gonna go ahead and cover everything up. And then this time we'll hit it for the full 15 seconds. Again, we'll start here and then we'll move across. So I'm giving some downward pressure and then mixed with heat. That's what makes everything kind of stick together. for my easy press, again, I'm using 320 degrees for 15 seconds. And this is Scissor Easy Weed. Not sure what the white one is, but so this is kind of what I have found after testing the best settings. All right, we'll go ahead and give it a look. So my white still doesn't look really tacked down. The black looks fantastic. Again, I think this is a different type of vinyl, so I kind of expect that a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is try to just hit the white, which is gonna be difficult. So this is where it gets a little tricky, because with the black, you don't wanna overdo it, because if you keep hitting the black, you can actually, and if it's already ready, you can actually burn it. So I'm going to kind of extra cover that, and then you can kind of see through this just enough to see the white, and to try not to cover it too many times. We're gonna go right in the center. Again, another 15 seconds, really pressing down. That extra layer of protection for the black vinyl will help it not burn. And then I'm really trying to just concentrate on that white in the center. And then we'll come over here. Make sure I get this side really well, and then we'll hit the other side too. Okay. Yeah. The white looks better. Those edges are still wanting to curl. It's definitely not stuck on as well as the black. So we'll go ahead and do it again. And I'm just gonna keep doing this until it gets stuck on there really well, and I'm happy with my results. So I went ahead and continued adding heat to the white area a couple more times, kept it on the 320 degrees for 15 seconds, and just took my time. I think I had to hit it maybe 3 or 4 more times, but it finally looks much better. So that is how you can layer heat transfer vinyl for your designs. Well, there you have it, my crafty friend. This is how you can layer heat transfer vinyl on your clothes to get a perfect, amazing look every time.